Well, I want to say something about that because I can't think that of anybody else who could have acted in this picture who would have done a better job than the
They
actors
were all in
playing
the
their
movie.
characters.
There was nobody left
to
in
be
acting.
quite honest, that's what I mean. The movie and
We're back.
Okay, so we're back. So now we'll do
Amsterdam.
you.
Bob's movie.
This is my pick. This is a movie that this is David O. Russell, who we've been talking about, who wrote and directed it. And I said, yeah, I remember this movie was out there. I had forgotten about it, and it was only like a year ago that it was out. And I said I had forgotten about it because it just seemed to disappear.
Yeah,
And
I believe that.
And I saw that, like it lost $100 million.
I believe
partly
that.
partly because of COVID, but partly because I think people didn't like it. And I said, you know what? I'm picking this movie because I really love this movie, and I don't think that any of the other people at the table are going to like it. So I'm not here to defend this movie. I'm here to just say this thing worked for me. I watched it because I watched it about a month ago, and I decided I wanted to do it. So I watched it again last week just as a refresher, and I love it. Christian Bale, I don't know what it is with this guy because he always does these weird acting choices, like showing you, I'll go to any extreme to show you what a great actor I am. And I don't know what the hell he's doing in this, but there's something about it that I just said, this is a balls out gutsy performance. I really am enjoying what he's doing. I enjoy the story of the three main characters. There are a lot of interesting people in it, including Taylor Swift, who has a small but very crucial role in the movie, and I thought she did a fine job. But everything about the movie just spoke to me, and I think a lot of it has to do with my days as a anti-war activist, because this is definitely an anti-war movie, even though there's no war going on at the time, other than the war against money and wealth and racism in America, and I really like the way he dealt with it in this.
Could you explain what the movie is about?
The movie is about three people with drastically different backgrounds who have been traumatized by society, and in different ways. Like Christian Bale's been traumatized by the war, and where he meets Isaiah Washington, and also, by the way, Chris
John
Rock.
David Washington?
John David,
Yeah.
that's right. Isaiah Washington's he's a different actor. John
Yeah.
David, the son of Denzel's boy,
I love
John
him.
David Washington, and he was wonderful. Margot Robbie, she's scarred by society, obviously, with John David Washington and Chris Rock. You're just seeing the way that African Americans, they're not all from Africa, that people of color were treated by the people they were fighting to defend in World War I and further. So it was really dealing with that in a way that didn't feel like I was ever being preached to. I just thought, this is enjoyable. This movie goes back and forth from being funny to being really dramatic, and I just across the board said, there's something about this movie that speaks to me, and I want other people to see it. I couldn't tell you whether you're going to like it or not. I'd say right now we're doing about a 20% at this table of people who like the movie. But
That high, Bob, that high.
What's the question?
Yeah, I'm a fifth of the people here.
Was Christian Bale Jewish in the movie?
Half Jewish, he claimed.
Because we know then you have three. Well, knowledge about Michael background. When it comes back to three groups that have issues against them in the movie: the women, African American, and half Jewish.
Yes.
And in that time period,
Yes.
three groups are having a hard time in
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what it's done to some of the people because they're wealthy and are driven insane by it, and what's done to them by their families. I'm describing a movie that sounds really harsh, but this movie was totally enjoyable to me, and I really the relationship between the three lead characters, which are Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and John David Washington, it reminded me of movies of the 30s.
Oh.
It's like the sort of like the open relationship of three people, even though they're just friends, and they're friends who become friends in Amsterdam, because in this film Amsterdam is kind of kind of a make-believe world, a place where you can be who you are, be who you want to be, and not be criticized for it. Whereas when you find out what these people are fighting for,
Right.
they're fighting for people who want to kill them. Look at Killers of the Flower Moon.
Right.
That's what they came back to, and this is connected to that in that way, because it is about the treatment of people who just want to be themselves,
Right.
by people who just want money.
Right.
And so I don't want to talk about it a lot, because you're probably not going to watch it anyway. And I don't want to give stuff away. But I thought everybody acquitted themselves really well in this movie. It takes a lot of chances to me. Again, I just mentioning Taylor Swift has just been a name to me before, and I watched her in this. I said, "Hey, she's pretty good.
She was pretty good.
I want to see her act in something else."
She had a Swift role.
Yeah.
Like I said,
How long you been holding that one in?
it's a small role, but it's also the character that gets the whole show going.
Right.
So I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I feel bad when it comes to my turn.
This movie kind of bewildered me.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like it has every time I turn around, it would be like, "Hey, that's Chris Rock." Oh, that's. I would say it's a hot mess. That's what I would say. It's kind of.
I think that's a great terminology for it. Yeah.
It was kind of like it. I didn't know where it was going, which is okay because that might be going someplace really interesting. But then to me, it went someplace that you would have to be a kind of simplistic place of good guys and bad guys. He didn't really have. It was kind of cliche. That's what I have to say. I had a lot of problems. It took me. Okay, I had to stop and start 3 times to watch this movie. I
did more than that.
What I would say good about it is that Christian Bale was quite amazing because he was. I mean, we were talking earlier about Dano as a really.
Right.
He just amazes me that he plays this goofy doctor guy, and he does it so well. He was quite believable. Why Margot Robbie would be in this role, I have no idea. It was like it was kind of like I don't know, I don't know. It's kind of a dumb role, and then yeah. It was I just don't know what to say. I was like kind of like, and I just saw it today, and I was like, I can't believe this. Really, the philosophy of the movie was so simplistic. That it was hard for me, and also the rhythm of the thing, the way they talked, it kind of like it reminded me like of Mae West kind of movie. Hey, we come with sleeping top time. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's a good observation.
Yeah, very. And so it wasn't really. It was kind of a weird way of talking to me to people. Also, the friendship. It was kind of weird. I didn't really understand their friendship, but that was it. That's it. I'm bewildered by this movie.
What a nice word.
And that's the nicest thing I can say.
I wanted to say one thing in response to what you said there. I talked about, when we were talking about Dumb Money, that I needed to see Margot Robbie in a bathtub. I didn't need to see her in a bathtub in this movie. I really enjoyed everything.
Well, I really needed to see her in a bathtub.
That could be more than I need to know about it.
Okay, I thought, if the movie Bob talked about was the movie I thought I saw, I would have loved it. But these are 2 different movies. It's like, one is they had way too many actors that are well-known. It took away totally from the movie.
Not to me.
Well, not to you, Bob, but to me it did. And it's like, why do you have to have a famous person who's the bus driver going 50 cents? Boom! Every single person was somebody you knew. It just takes you away from the story. It's based on a 1933, it's called The Business Plot, a political conspiracy in the U.S. I never would have guessed that. But the material never rises to the level of the star-studded cast. And it was jerky. That was it. It was jerky. It didn't flow. Flow.
Yeah, flow.
Yeah,
Flow,
flow.
right.
I know what you
It
mean.
didn't flow. And the jerkiness of the conversations didn't help because you're like this all the time. So no, I did not like it.
No, yeah.
Ron.
Well, I was sort of indifferent towards it, only because I don't like David O. Russell films in general. So
Wait till you see Silver Lining.
no, and that was so. I sort of knew I probably would not like it, but I thought, you know what? Interesting cast. Let's watch it, and I will give it to that. The cast alone, I think, are amazing in it. The acting really
Yeah, we
is
haven't even mentioned
excellent.
De Niro.
Well, here's the funny part. To me, it wasn't them. It was seeing people act again, like Ed Begley Jr. I was talking earlier. I miss Colleen Camp. She was one of my favorites as a kid, and it's like she had a small role, but I thought, where was she in this movie? I would love to have seen her in this movie. Or like seeing Zoe Saldana.
They all had small parts.
But playing at least, she's acting. She doesn't have to have a gun or beat up somebody. It was nice and refreshing to see her playing this person, who becomes very important towards the end of the movie.
Well, I want to say something about that because I can't think that of anybody else who could have acted in this picture who would have done a better job than the
They
actress
were all
playing
in the
their
movie.
character.
There was nobody left
to
in
be
acting.
quite honest, that's what I mean. The movie in itself is such an odd kind of mix of stuff. Because
Yeah.
she's right. Again, the only reason I claim Margot Robbie's in it is because her connection to him through I, Tonya, that he probably asked her, "Hey, would you like to be?"
That was Craig
pleased?"
Gillespie.
Yes.
Yeah, but this isn't
Yeah.
Craig Gillespie. This is David O. Russell.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. It is. I got that mixed up.
Back
I'm
up,
trying to
Ron.
think. Yes.
I thought we have
sorry.
it,
I got that wrong. But I was
No worries.
because I was literally thinking because I heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't know if it was on Wikipedia or not, but they had mentioned how Angelina Jolie and Jennifer Lawrence were possibly going to be cast in this same role. So it's
could've
like,
played-
oh, I can see all three of them playing the role. And I thought Margot Robbie was very good in it. I enjoyed her.
too.
But see, I also did enjoy the dynamic of their friendship. I bought that because I'm watching this and say it's like I Am a Camera or The Cabaret. You're at Europe at a certain time where there's sort of this bohemian kind of thing.
Yeah.
In fact, one thing I have to admit that I thought was great is I have to admit that I thought the art direction alone in the film was excellent. It was really well done. So between that and the cinematographer capturing that, I give them kudos for that. But for the most part, I'm like you. It's like, this is sort of leaving me cold. I don't get what you're supposed to be telling me. I thought it was very convoluted the way they started it. And then when he says something about, you have to understand the past to understand the present kind of moment. And it's like, no, I don't. Just
Yeah,
go
you do.
forward. Just go forward, because it was also a long running time for me,
It was
too.
very long.
So
yes.
I kept thinking,
Was it?
Yeah, I think it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah. well, yeah. And to me, it's like, and I know it's just me, like I said, because it's David O. Russell. But the funny part is that's why I had to watch it to the end, because I wanted to see what other actors were going to show up playing the littlest role, because it was sort of neat. It really is neat.
It didn't. It
You know?
didn't take you away from the story.
No, because to
didn't
me,
he?
I wasn't really into the story. That was the problem. So this was what
I
had
think you
me
just called
going.
him David O. Hustle.
Oh, David O. Russell?
No, it sounded like David O. Hustle
Yeah.
to me.
But it's just, for example, one part I thought was very absurd is when you meet Valerie's brother, who is played by Rami Malek. And I kept thinking, his wife is played by Anya
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Joy. I said, they look more like sisters than her and him as
Right.
brother and sister, right?
Right.
It's that kind of stuff. So that's where the stunt casting, to me, gets involved. But for the most part,
that's
it's like,
interesting.
I did not find this movie engaging at all, though. That was the oddest point. So the things I was glomming onto was, first of all, the true story, and trying to figure out what actually was true a part of this, which apparently very little was true about this, right?
I forgot to mention that.
Probably just the De Niro character.
Mhm. No, exactly. But I do like the social consciousness because Christian Bale's character, that's what he's trying to do at that time period is look after veterans. In fact, that's what has gotten him in trouble with. He's married to a woman of society, and his father-in-law is also a society doctor. And I'm assuming this is either New York or Boston. I really couldn't even figure out where it was.
Yeah.
Me either.
I think the East Coast for sure.
Okay, yeah,
the Northeast
exactly.
Coast.
Definitely the East Coast. And
Would you
yes,
say that Christian Bale's character was keeping his eye out for us?
no. Well, AI
But
apparently.
Yeah.
Yes. But I will say that's what I there are certain things, and I don't know what to make of this movie about as far as the writers. It's like, I keep mentioning things about a thesis. What is the point of you making your movie, or why do you want to do it?
Right.
David O. Russell never seems to have a thesis to me, and that's why I keep getting lost in watching his movies. So,
What silver lining?
Jorge?
Yes.
Yeah, so for me, this movie in the beginning, I was kind of a little confused, but the dialogue was kind of confusing, and it kept reminding me of I was going, is this like a Wes Anderson movie or Terry Gilliam? Because I saw a combination of both.
Yeah,
Some of the
absolutely.
camera shots saw that. So once I kind of started thinking of it more of that kind of a movie, then okay, so now I'm stick with it and see where it goes. The Christian Bale, he really kind of hooked me to the one. Like he's the one that really kept me going through the movie because his character was interesting. It's really a murder mystery that kind of covers a larger plot. I think that's where they were going with that. I like Robert De Niro in it too. So I really like his character in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't like that, but I was in the last two movies I've seen him in, I liked his character, which was Kiros of Flower Moon and this one. The stars, it reminded me of Oppenheimer with just tons of stars. I mean, tons of stars. And I go, maybe when I see that many stars in a movie, I go, these people must be signing up for this because they think this is going to be an Oscar nominee kind of movie at that level. So, because how did they manage to get so many people in it? Also made me think of tackles about the movie does tackle a couple of issues like corporations and war. And it's I noticed when I watch a lot of those older movies or movies about a certain time period, how things changed and I go like veterans issues.
not really.
And I go, wow, are we still trying to fighting for rights for veterans? So it kind of, it's a lot of things that go, wow, we're going this far back and we've been fighting for this. So I actually did not, like you guys, I did not like it. It kind of grabbed me once I started kind of getting into it. I did fall asleep the first time, but it was so late when watching it. Now, you told me the next day I continued watching it, but I don't know if you maybe skipped 20 minutes or something. But are you sure we should rewind more? No, it's not serious. But so it grabbed me. I think the one thing that kind of bothered me too was the friendship was a little too. It was so intense for people that just kind of met. I thought it was the friendship was.
You're talking about the three main
film,
characters,
yeah.
right?
I thought
Okay.
maybe I would need more development of that friendship to make it believable that they're really so into it. But also I thought maybe they were. I can't remember if she was part of the war, but it seems to me like they were all also.
She was a nurse.
So okay, so
Yeah,
I
she was
wanted
Margot
removing
Robbie,
all the
right?
I
shrapnel
wanted
from the
that
people.
war damage. If the connection was also the war, war connected everybody. That's whether from damage and everything. So I wouldn't say that it wasn't to me like a great movie, but it still kept me engaged. So
You mentioned the Rami Malek and Anya Taylor-Joy. I thought the casting of those two was so brilliant because you just see them and you go, oh, there's something not right about these people. And they're supposed
Immediately.
to be good
Yes,
guys.
I agree.
So
I think you're defending the movie, babe.
I'm not defending the movie. I love the movie. I don't have to defend the movie.
No,
The
you
movie
don't.
is what it is.
but the level of actors, yeah,
No,
they were
you
just
don't,
so
Bob.
good.
No, as I said, I think the performances. I mean, I even didn't mention like Beth Grant, playing De Niro's wife. It's like,
Good
oh
to see
my
her.
God, it's so nice to see her. And she was just in this little role, like you said. She made me laugh.
Yeah.
First she's chasing off, get away from here, get that drunk off my lawn. And then all of a sudden she's like, okay, I got to make this for the general because it's like, I thought, what a typical wife of that time period, right? Forget about her danger. She's shooing off men. She's got to go cook for the general.
And she is married to a guy who stands up for what's right, no matter what the consequences.
Yeah, that was a problem for me. It was like that was a problem for me
Why?
because I didn't believe it. It was like it was like just like out of a book or out of a movie.
Yeah, but if you think about it, but if you
I
think
don't
about
believe
it,
that.
I don't get that one.
It
no, but if
was,
you think
yeah.
about, let's say this movie takes place in the 30s, and if you watch a movie made in the 30s, those characters will probably be doing that. It'll be
No,
Yeah, like
exactly.
Mr.
Designed
Smith
for
goes
living.
to,
Yeah.
they did it in movies.
It's kind of like,
Yeah.
but we'll get to it. It's kind of like the
Well,
holdovers.
this is a movie.
That's what I'm saying. But a movie is
It's a movie in the style of the 30s, so it makes sense. What do you
no,
want to have like
it's a movie that is iconic, kind of iconicizing. What's the word I want to say? Like idolizing,
Yeah, but
or
I kind of,
making the
this
best.
kind of, in this way, time I agree with Bob. What when you watch, if you watch movies in golden era of Hollywood, they would wear that kind of like,
no, like this.
you know.
If I read a story and the princess ends up with the prince, then it's like a fairy story. It's not.
The Wizard of Oz. They made the Wizard of Oz down.
Yeah, it's always
Did
what
she
would be
marry
like-
the prince? I have no
No, but
There is no
Yeah.
prince in that.
But-
She married one of the flying monkeys.
Yeah, but
So?
the point being that the movies made in that time period, like in the
Doesn't
30s.
matter. I'm just saying that.
It's only
can
in the
I
time
Can
period.
I believe? Yeah, it's in that time period.
But that's it.
and I don't think that time period. Schmidley, he would be somebody who would. Let's see his movie.
Well, listen, this
Yes.
is,
Yeah,
I would-
you know
we
what I
did,
mean?
yes.
No, we
What is-
didn't.
what is-
Yes, you did.
No.
It was at the end of the movie.
What I'm
Yeah,
saying
he
is
was
this.
in- he was in the
But,
movie.
okay, let's say if this movie would have been made in the 30s, how close would it be to how it
It
was
really
now?
was not.
But you would have to know that about the 30s movie. When I'm watching a movie in the
I've seen
1930s, I'm just saying, oh, that's 1930. If I have to know history behind it,
but when you watch
like all movies,
But when you watch movies from the 30s and 40s, there's idealism and there's possible. Everybody's so innocent.
you would have to know that
They
ahead
are
of
what
time.
they are, and
Yes,
this is
but
what it is.
except
This is what it is, like
I
it or
am
not.
no
you
longer
know?
in the 30s. I'm no longer in the 30s, so I know what happened in the 30s.
Yeah, but we're making a movie that's supposed to be in the 30s and in the style of the 30s too. Maybe that's the movie in the style of a 30s movie.
but maybe
which-
it
which
isn't.
have a point.
Yes. I
Which some
totally
people make
agree.
about the holdovers too.
I totally agree. But it's in the It's about a movie. It's in the style of a movie in the 30s.
Which will be made
It's
that
not
way.
It's not a movie about the 30s.
No.
Okay, you guys are splitting hairs. Sorry.
No, I get what he's
No,
saying.
no,
I do
because
too.
basically I understand exactly what they're saying. The sensibility is contemporary.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
everything's sort of so. You're probably having a problem with that part, right? That not
Right.
matching
Well,
up because
I'd
I
say-
agree in a way.
I'm
'cause
sorry. It was
that's what
just
it is,
kind of
yeah.
like what was that movie that we saw? Brad and Carol. It's like they insisted we had to see this
Oh,
movie.
the
It was-
puppet one, America.
Yeah,
fuck
what was that?
Oh,
What was
Team
it?
America.
Yeah, Team America.
You saw that?
That puppet
She,
movie?
they
Yeah.
insisted.
I walked out on that movie. It was so
Okay,
bad.
Oh, we have to
Same
watch
thing.
it because we were invited
It's the
some to
same
watch it.
thing.
Mhm.
It was like I was like, why did you think I'd like this movie?
Tells you what you never know what your friends
Well,
think about you.
there's a difference. I didn't think anybody would like this movie. I said to me, I know that I'm not doing this as like, hey, I'm the champion of this movie. This movie talked to me, and a lot of it had to do with the fact of it. To me, what it was a comment on the 30s by doing a contemporary sensibility in the style of
Well,
the 30s
you like the
that
idealism
underlines
of it.
both of them. You
Well,
know?
they should have written that
Yeah.
before I
do
started
not
watching
like
it.
the idealism of it.
I wouldn't say that anybody's right or wrong about this movie. It's just I liked it.
Yeah,
You didn't like it. You
absolutely,
didn't, I
absolutely.
think, you
Oh
know.
no! What was there was that famous
I didn't
movie?
like it.
Oh, Henry Fool when he says
I'm just
you
not
can't
that.
argue
I'm not that young.
taste.
You know what I mean? That
And-
it was
or
like,
you can't
I'm
can't
not that
argue
idealistic.
art or taste, and I completely agree.
Sorry.
I mean, you
Okay,
can
let's-
defend what you think is great
Yeah.
about it, but yeah, people are gonna like what they want to like.
Let's do our
Okay.
thing.
That would be you, right?
that would be me.
Yes.
I'll give it a 6.
I'll give it a 5.
I gave it a 4.
I'll give it a 6. So.
Okay.
Oh, then so we'll be back.
Back.